All right, welcome to the Bears Hall of Discipline today. We are in Zechariah chapter 5. Are there women angels? This is one of the sections in the scriptures that indicates there are. There's not many, but today we're going to run into one. It's very beautiful. And why not? There's women on earth walking around. Why shouldn't there be women angels flying around up there? Or with us, because the angels are in the spiritual realm, and, they could be right next to me. And I wouldn't know. But knowing there's a protection that the angelic messengers give, and the Holy Spirit's with us, but we don't really know all that right now. We see dimly. So here we go, Zechariah chapter 5. Zechariah sometimes looks backwards, sometimes looks in the present, sometimes looks in the future. Today we're going to see in the future from even where we're at. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying scroll. Or let's say for us, scrolls don't really do a whole lot for us when we, in the concept of understanding, but when we say a book, let's say a book, because we read books here in America, here in the USA, some of you over in Europe and Asia, and several of the other continents, South America. Those of you that tune in, we read books, right? We don't really unravel scrolls. But in those days, they had parchments that rolled out, and they would roll from one side to the next. In some cultures, they read from the right to the left, and others they read from the left to the right. But they had scrolls. But when we say scroll, we don't really comprehend that much. But if I said book, then you would know what I mean. So just interject here, flying book for flying scroll, and you'll get a better precept. It means it's a writing of importance. It's from the Lord, from God Almighty, from the Son of God, to the people on earth, especially to Israel. But everybody can understand the book that was given, like the Bible. We can understand, and the more we read, the more we will understand. If you've never read it before and you open it up and say, well, I don't really understand it. Well, of course. When you just started doing math as a young junior high school person or a high school person, if you looked at a geometry book or algebra 3 or something like that, if you read that, in the middle of it, you wouldn't understand, because you got to start with the basics, and you get some principles, and you understand concept. How do you do this? You put the A here, you put B here, and then you get C. The Bible. Don't read it for the first time and say, I don't understand it. Of course. But you're going to understand a little, and you read it until you understand something. And the next time you read, you're going to understand more. And so here we're going to get a flying scroll, a flying book. And they're going to understand a pretty good amount of it, because it's very clear. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying scroll, or a flying book. The length thereof is 20 cubits. There's the scroll. About, anywhere from 30 to 40 feet. And the breadth thereof, the height, 10 cubits, anywhere from 15 to 20 feet. It's big. It's big so the whole world can see, if they need to. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth. The curse that goeth forth, it's moving forward, it's spreading across the earth. The curse that goes out over the entire earth. For everyone that stealeth, the thieves. You ever had something stolen? Ever had your house broken into, your car broken into? I have. My family has. My home has. And it's not a nice feeling. You know, it's like the feeling of, if there's a feeling that's equal to being violated, like your own privacy has been violated by a stranger who came and meant you harm, to steal from you. There's a curse for them. And they don't get away with it. People think they get away with it. People think that these gross criminals get off and, hey, nobody gets off with anything. It would have been better for that person if he would have been thrown in jail for his punishment than to go free and then wait for God to judge him. For him that stealeth, the thieves, they will be cut off as on this side according to it. Every one that sweareth shall be cut off on that side according to it. People that swear. Obscenities continually coming out of their pie holes. And you could meet up with that, liars and swears. The things and the damage they do. Those that cause strife amongst brethren. Hatred. If you're in a club that spreads strife and hatred, get out of that club, friend. You don't belong there. That's slavery. Get yourself free. And be free indeed in Jesus Christ. If you're a Christian, you have no business belonging in a club that brings you bondage, hatred, division. We're not talking about severing yourself from sin. We're talking about the club, my club, your club. Be free in Christ. Verse 4. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof, and the stones thereof. Liars, giving false testimony, swearing, spreading false rumors, false hatred. We're not talking national security here. We're not talking, the defense of your country. We're talking about people that just spread evil because they're evil. Their own conscience bothers them, so they try to bring others down. Pull yourself away from those people, away from those clubs, and cling to Jesus Christ. Then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, Lift up now thine eyes, and see what is this that goeth forth. And I said, What is it? And he said, This is an ephah that goeth forth. He said, Moreover, this is their resemblance through all the earth. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead, in other words, a cover. And there is a woman that sitteth in the midst of the ephah. So picture an iron pot or a lead pot. Big enough for a person to say, don't think small, think big. If you've ever been out to the, landscaping place or the flower garden, or you want to go buy a big tree or big flower pot to fill with, maybe vegetables, tomatoes, and they have big ones. Picture a really, really big one that's made out of lead with a big lead covered on the top. Picture that in your mind. With handles on both sides so it can be carried. Big handles, big heavy-duty handles. And in this pot, there's a woman sitting in the pot. Now, don't be offended with me. Frequently in the spiritual realm, when a woman is used as a religious leader, not always. Deborah was a great woman back in the Old Testament. If you go back farther in history from where we're at, in the Minor Prophets. Great woman. That's not always, but frequently it's talking about a spiritual situation like Jezebel. When somebody is called a Jezebel woman, that's not good, friend. That's not good. That's a reprobate. That's a curse. But here we have like a woman, like a Jezebel woman, an evil woman, representing a false religion, a pseudo-religion, possibly even a false Christian religion, a false Judeo-Christian religion that's enticing the world. I won't give it a name because the Bible doesn't give it a name. But most certainly the spirit of that exists now in various organizations. And it will grow. And this woman is sitting in this big pot. Verse 8. And he said, this is wickedness. Okay? So wickedness, this woman of wickedness, this spiritual condition, the spiritual Jezebel, if you would. And so we have the woman, and he cast it into the midst of the ephah, and he cast the weight of lead upon the mouth thereof. So the woman was thrown into the big pot, lead pot, and a big lead lid was put on it. Now the intent is to be concealed, to be encapsulated, to be restrained. Verse 9, then lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came out 2 women. The intent of these 2 women is they are righteous women. They are angelic beings. And the wind was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephah between the earth and heaven. So it's flying, be it in the physical realm, in the nether realm, or in the spiritual realm. We don't know. Then said I to the angel that talked with me, whether to these bear the ephah. It's gonna go someplace. They're gonna fly it off someplace. And he said unto me, to build it an house in the land of Shinar, or Babylon, or Iraq. And it shall be established and set there upon her own base. There's been many pseudo-kingdoms that have tried to establish their own little Reich, their kingdom, in Babylon, in Shinar, in Iraq. I don't need to mention their names. You know them. Nebuchadnezzar was one. We had a more modern day one. He was executed for atrocities on his own people. Nonetheless, one day, in the end of the age, I believe once the church has been removed off of this earth, the catching away with the church, the true church, the people that love Jesus Christ are caught up into the heavens to meet the Lord in the air, as well as all the saints that have died in the past. And we're going to meet them in the air, and we're going to go off to the heavens, probably enjoying the marriage supper of the Lamb, while all Hades is breaking forth on earth. And during that time, I believe, is when we're going to see this encapsulation explode into reality, where there will be a great spiritual movement, like these shamanism things. You mix shamanism, Islamababism, the Buddhism, the Catholicism, the pseudo-Indian spiritual religions, and all the various, the Tai Chi religions, and all that garbage, all put into a pot of sewage, and it comes out a woman, an evil woman, that sets up some type of spiritual residency, home, kingdom, beaconing place, a centrifuge of evil spreading out to the ends of the earth. And this evil will initially, seems according to Revelation, Ezekiel, various parts, Daniel, that this evil woman religion will connect with the other religions of the world and with the beast, the ruler that comes to power once the church has gone off of the earth. And the beast will tolerate her for a while. As a matter of fact, it will even help her until he sees his time ready to seize the world as his kingdom, and then he will put an end to her. And you run into that in the book of Revelation. We have covered that before, and we will run into that story again when we get back to the book of Revelation. Nonetheless, Zechariah, chapter 5, very interesting. A lot of very interesting things happening in Zechariah, and I love it. Zechariah is all over the map for historical, the past, history, the present, and the spiritual realm, and the future. And I love that. I love history. There's some history we can't really track, the foundations of the earth and the universe. The Genesis gives us some facts, but not everything, you know. The Bible gives us some deeper spiritual facts, physical facts about the past, present, and future. But for me, as we see the world winding up, the end of the age, the end of the time for God working with man on earth, I'm going to enjoy looking down from heaven and letting go and let the Son of God take control of the things in your life that trouble you, bother you, worry you. You've lost control of kids, spouses, jobs, relationships. And yet you've done the right thing. You've done what was right in the Lord's eyes. It's okay, friend. Because only you are responsible for your spiritual conduct. Others, like the water for the horse. You can lead a horse to the water dish, but if he doesn't drink, it's his fault, not yours. So, have the water ready for the horses to drink, the kitties, the little bear cubs, the sheep. Give them the water. You've done your job. But then it's up to the little sheep and the bear cubs and the horsies to come drink. If they don't drink, you've still done your job. Now let go and let the Son of God take control of all your situations, all your worries, all your problems. Let go and let God. We'll see you, friends. Till next time. Bye-bye.